boys and girls, it's Miss Chu, your art teacher. Today we are going to do a really fun painting, and I have a very special guest. We are going to do a painting with my friend and amazing 5th grade teacher, Mr. K, today. So we are going to do a really fun painting. It's called a reindeer portrait, so let's get started. Okay, Mr. K, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you sure you're ready?
Kind of.
We're going to first start with the drawing. With the materials you're going to need today, you will need a pencil and an eraser in case you make a mistake. You're going to need some paint. I am going to make Mr. K mix colors today. So the paints that we are using red, yellow, and blue, which are what colors?
Pretty.
Pretty colors. They're the primary colors. And then we also need black and white today. So those are the 5 colors that you need for this lesson. Just squirty paint from Walmart. You are also going to need a paintbrush. We have a variety of paintbrushes in the art room. That way we don't have to get up and rinse out the paint while we are working. You will need to rinse out your brush because this is not watercolor paint. So let's start the drawing part. We're making a portrait, which if you paid attention to my last video, a portrait, it's a picture of the head. So this is a reindeer portrait. We're just going to make the reindeer's head. We're going to start with a few simple shapes and a few simple lines. So grab your pencil and let's get started. We are going to start with the reindeer's head, which is not going to be at the top, because the top half of the paper we need to keep for the antlers on your reindeer. So let's start in the bottom half of our paper, and we're going to draw a circle. And this is a command and follow lesson. That means I give the command and Mr. K follows, and so do you. After we draw the circle for the head, we're going to draw the reindeer's neck. 2 parallel lines coming down from the circle all the way off the page. See that? It's the reindeer's neck.
Reindeer has a really long neck, Miss Chu. Is that okay?
Yes, reindeer have very long necks. Perfect. All right, so now we are going to give the reindeer some facial features. Let's start with a big reindeer nose, a big oval right in the middle of the reindeer's head. Now we're going to give our reindeer some eyes, 2 circles. And we need that pupil right in the middle. I'm just going to color mine in black. There we go. What's our reindeer missing?
Ears.
Ears. Let's give our reindeer some ears. So we're going to give 2 ears. We're going to go slightly diagonal line pointing up and then coming down on the other side. It looks like a rounded off triangle or steeple. Do that on both sides. Now I like to show the inside of the reindeer's ear, so we are going to focus on the 2 inside lines. We're going to come from the top point to the head, just right there. That way you can see the outside and the inside of the reindeer's ear. Both sides. There you go.
Hey,
You
he's
see
upside
how
down.
ours look different? That's a good thing. It's a good thing to look different.
But I think his ears but got put on
He's
upside
listening.
down
He's listening.
and sideways.
Okay. All right. The last thing we're going to add to our reindeer's face is a little smile. You don't have to add a smile if you don't want to, but I'm going to. My reindeer has his tongue sticking out. Perfect. Now let's give our reindeer some antlers. Here's the fun part. You ready for this? Let's start giving our reindeer 2 antennas. So it looks like a bug. Good. Now we're going to make a curvy line. We're going to take up that space all the way to the middle. It looks like fingers. Start on the wrong side.
You didn't tell me which side to start on.
I just figured with the command and follow, I'd show you what
I thought this was like a mirrored image.
There we go. Now you do it on the other side. Focus on your symmetry.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
And they look just alike, right?
Yes, good job, Mr. K. That's perfect. What's left?
Feet.
Feet. Well, we could give our reindeer a back. Give our reindeer a back and a little tail. If you want to, we could do that.
That's fine.
We are going to do some color mixing. We are going to first mix the color of the reindeer. We are going to work at mixing brown with our red, yellow, blue, black, and white. Do you know what colors we need in order to make brown?
Purple?
But we don't have
You
purple.
didn't give me any purple, Miss Chu.
How do we do that if we don't have purple?
What if I mixed all of them?
What if we
What
mix
does that
all
make?
the colors together? What color are we going to get? We're going to get brown. We're going to mix red plus yellow plus blue. Those three colors together make brown. So grab a paintbrush,
Which paintbrush should I use?
any paintbrush.
I like this one.
Looks a lot like the one I'm using. So when you mix red plus yellow plus blue, it's a lot of trial and error. That means you might not get it right the first time. So take your paintbrush, scoop up some of your colors, mix them together, and test it out. My brown does not look brown. It's very reddish. And so I need to think about the color wheel, and if my brown looks very reddish, I need to mix the opposite color of red into this, which is green. So I need to add a little bit of yellow and a little bit of blue.
How do I make it lighter?
If you make it lighter, what do we
I'm
add
kind
to
of-
make a color lighter?
I feel like I'm kind of black.
Add some white. How was it in art teacher? I think I'd work at Sherwin-Williams. I'd mix paint. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Or the Walmarts.
So what Mr. K and I are doing is we are adding yellow to our brown because once we put it on the paper, we realized that it looked a little bit like purple. So in order to fix that, you have to add the complementary color. So purple's complementary color is yellow. So we're adding a little bit of yellow to turn it more brown. After we have the reindeer body painted, the next place we're going to go is the reindeer's antlers. So now we're going to keep our brown because we're going to add white to our brown to make tan for the reindeer's antlers. So we're going to need a lot of white. I'm going to put a lot of white in the middle of my tray and then just a little bit of that brown. I'm going to mix it together. And we're going to use that tan. We're going to paint the antlers.
The antlers are falling.
And I'm just using the same brush because I had brown in my brush. I didn't need to switch. So now we're going to paint. We're going to paint the antlers tan.
I think my paint's getting out of control. It's trying to run away from me.
Now I'm going to paint the inside of my deer's ears the same color that I painted the antlers. While we're waiting on Mr. K to finish his antlers, let's talk about the facial features on our reindeer. After the inside of the ears are painted the same color as the antlers, we're going to need to clean our paintbrush. Clean paintbrush. And then we are going to figure out what color we want our reindeer's nose. Do you want your reindeer to be Prancer or Vixen Or do you want your reindeer to be Rudolph? So you get to decide whether you want your reindeer's nose to be black or red. I'm a Vixen fan myself, so I am going to paint my reindeer's nose black.
Well, I didn't want the same color as my
Oh, okay.
I wanted
You are free to express yourself however you
I wanted a pinky brown. That's what color the inside of ears are, right?
I thought they were pinky brown, but oh, I would really like the inside of my reindeer's
Me too.
ears. I like it. It's a perfect pinky brown. So Mr. K needs to paint his reindeer's nose. I am also going to paint the pupils of my reindeer's eyes black as well. I need to get a smaller paintbrush because that's too big. I'm working in a very small area, so I need to get a smaller paintbrush and use the tippy toes. Good. That's a good nose.
Good nose. Good nose.
Good nose.
I know. Nose. Nose.
Two nose.
The nose.
Okay, now you get your pupils painted. Oh, I forgot your body
Oh,
too.
Carter's body.
Here, use mine.
That's the brown I wanted in the beginning. That's what color I wanted. Can I start over?
You can use my brown. Share. My reindeer has its tongue sticking out, so I'm going to make a pink tongue. How do I get pink? You know, Mr. K?
I think it's got some red in it.
It does have red.
Maybe a little bit of white.
A lot of bit of white. Add a lot of white to it. Little bit of red. There we go. All right, while Mr. K is working on his finishing touches, I'm going to start painting my background. This is a very Christmassy lesson. I like to have a bright green background because it's very contrasting with our brown deer. You can make your background whatever color you want. I enjoy the green background. So I'm going to try to make a very yellowish green and then add a little bit of white to it so I can get a light green. And then I'm going to start painting my background, and after that, we're going to clean it up with some black outlines and we will be done. Do you remember how to make green? My kindergartners would know this. We spent a lot of time being color scientists. This next step is optional, but since I have finished painting my reindeer, I like to put a nice solid outline around it just to clean everything up. So I'm going to use a very thin, pointed, narrow paintbrush, and I'm going to start outlining my reindeer with black. going to add a little bit of a highlight to my reindeer's nose since my black paint has dried. Good. I like it. I'm happy with your reindeer. You can add a little bit of white on his tail. Do you need a brush?
I saw this line. I don't have that line.
The next line? I don't like this about it. There you go. It looks good. Oh, I need to do this. Are you done?
I think so.
Are you happy?
It's done.
I love it. Mr. K did an excellent job with his reindeer. I hope you had fun painting reindeer with us. Have a Merry Christmas, and we will see you soon. We miss you very much. Bye, boys and girls.
Bye, guys.